Hi everyone, Julie here. So today I am recommending some French podcasts. Some of them are for beginner French learners, others are for intermediate level, and others for advanced level. So if you already speak French but you still struggle with French listening, stay until the end. I will have some good stuff for you. So the first one is Coffee Break French. So this is a podcast made for learners. So it's not like authentic, French content, but it's made for learners, and you follow along. I think his name is Mark, I'm not sure, who is learning French from zero. And I love this podcast. Like, it has such a good vibe, and he sometimes struggles with some pronunciation, so he repeats everything, and it makes you feel like, oh, it's not just me, like this is hard. And I think it makes you feel so nice about yourself and about the language. And he very often asks, oh, hey, what is that specific word in the sentence? And they give like grammar tips and cultural fun facts. And I think it's one of the best podcasts to learn languages, if not the best, in my opinion. And I feel it's pretty much like Duolingo in a podcast. You know what I mean? Like the content you would get from a language learning app, but through a podcast. And the cool thing is, because you follow along what he's learning, he eventually moves on to more intermediate level content, which feels a bit more authentic. So that is honestly really, really useful and really amazing. Second one, you probably know because it is so famous and for a good freaking reason. It's Inner French. Inner French is the absolute best thing because it is authentic, real French. It's not like baby French, like dumbed down French. It's real French that any French person would say, but it is kind of spoken having in mind that foreigners will listen to it. And I think that is the best concept ever. And I think that's why Hugo, the creator, created it, because he couldn't find that kind of content for his students. And I think it's so good. And so basically they discuss everyday topics from, history to French culture to sports, political issues, social issues, big events that happened in the world. Like, it's so diverse in terms of topics. And I think that's brilliant, because sometimes you find a podcast that you can actually understand and learn from, but the topics are a bit boring. And in this case, you won't get bored because there's everything. So yeah, I really like it. And a pro tip, if you find that this podcast is a little bit too difficult for you, listen to it and read the transcription at the same time. So the transcription is available on their website. You just need to register, but it's free. And then you can read along and even have like timestamps of the main ideas. So you can, if you get lost, you can still find, where you are in the text. And reading as you're listening to something is one of the best exercises you can do to improve your listening skills and your, pronunciation as well. So really, again, 1000% recommended, Inner French. And then the last podcasts I want to share with you, they are podcasts that I listen as a French person. So they're not made for learners, which might make them very difficult for you, but also very useful, because they don't have any mercy. They will use very French slang, they'll speak a bit fast, and they won't have in mind that foreigners are listening to it, which is kind of useful when you get to that high, like upper intermediate level, and you feel a bit stuck. This is the kind of stuff you want to challenge yourself with. So the first one is Alex Viseo. So he used to be a travel blogger, and now he is a personal branding business something expert. So he has two different podcasts. One is called Je t'emmène en voyage, and the second one is Entrepoteurs. So the first one is about travel stories. So he interviews people, French-speaking people, who have traveled in different places in different ways. And so it's a brilliant way to listen to different accents and different speech speeds and different, ways of pronouncing words. And it's a big challenge, I think, but it's brilliant. And then the second one he has is Entrepoteurs. And so that's a podcast about people starting their businesses, or he gives advice. So it's very business oriented. But if you are, interested in that, it's one of the best podcasts, honestly, because this guy has such a good energy. And if you actually manage to learn French from him, as well as benefit from his businessy content, honestly, it's a win-win. And then the third one is also business related, but it's mostly feminism related, or I guess both. And it's called Génération XX. And this is like my favorite podcast, as a French person, not as a teacher, but as a person. Because teachers, we're people too. And I listen to it all the time. And so they interview women who have had a very interesting life path in business. And I love it because they're so understanding of every single woman who, those who have children, those who don't have children, those who are very career driven, and those who just created a small startup. And like, I don't know, it's just such a feel good feminism oriented podcast. So I absolutely adore it, and I really recommend it to anyone who's interested in feminism and who has already the level to listen to it. Again, they interview different people, so you'll hear different accents and dialects of French. Well, not really dialects, but you'll hear Belgian people and people from Quebec and so on. So I think it's, again, a very big challenge, but very, very good for those who are intermediate, advanced level French learners. So yeah, these are the recommendations. I will leave some links in the description for you to find them. Obviously, like, none of them even know I exist. Like, this is 100% my recommendations. No one's paying me to recommend this because no one even knows I am on YouTube. So yeah, this is really authentically, genuinely my recommendation. So yeah, I hope this was useful. Do you have any other French podcasts that you'd like to recommend to other French learners? Feel free to leave them in the comments or message me on Instagram, and I'll see you very soon for more recommendations. Bye.